Hey girlies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer and this is a Ready to Wear affair where I discuss all things fashion, mostly luxury and designer fashion because that is my true passion. But of course, as a lover of fashion, I love all price ranges. I love affordable fashion, fast fashion, contemporary fashion, you name it. So if that sounds like your vibe, please go ahead and subscribe and just go ahead and like this video because it's going to be a good one. I'm going to be focusing on one of the specific trends that I covered in a few videos as of late towards the fall fashion kind of upcoming season. And I kind of broke down my favorite fashion trends that I'll probably be most likely rocking this fall. And many of them are pieces that I already own, which we love because we're trying to be smart here. We're trying to save and not spend recklessly. And if we can just rework the items that we already have in our wardrobe, that is the goal. So let's get into this video. This video is going to be covering your not so boring trench trends. It's not just going to be your very boring traditional trench, you know, not your grandpa's trench, you know, not the trench in the 1950s or like a classic minimal trench. I'm talking trenches that are stylistic, trenches that have a twist, trenches with a nice spin. So let's get into the specific trends. There are about 6 that I'm going to cover in this video. I'm going to start off with the cropped trench trend. I am a lover and sucker for all things cropped, and especially when it's in a trench form. I love the cropped trench. It's a very playful twist on your traditional classic trench. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more versatile in terms of like how you can style it to make it more interesting. And this coming fall, I already have like my favorite picks for the cropped trench trend. And I would say this is not a current trend, but I think trenches just never go out of style. And the focus is, again, trench coats with a twist, but I think the crop trench is something that can be worn every single season, every single fall, and every single spring, of course. So a few pieces I like, especially like that I own. My favorite crop trench of all time is this Burberry crop trench. I'm gonna see if we can find a picture of it, like the model or like when it first came out from like the runway show from Burberry. I'll put the correct date and show here on the screen. When I saw it, it was like love at first sight. And it was when I think Christopher Bailey was at the helm of Burberry, and I love that era of Burberry. Oh my God, one of the best eras and creative directors at the Burberry brand. Like his work was impeccable. He had some very memorable pieces. And like I said, the focus being this crop trench. I have it. I was able to cop it from Ukes.com. Don't sleep on Ukes. I love Ukes. I talk about Ukes all the time on this channel, so go check out Ukes. But I got it from Ukes.com like probably almost 10 years ago, more even. And I've been obsessed with it ever since. And it runs small, but it's just, you kind of would probably wear it with a sleeveless shirt or a very thin layer shirt because it is very snug. But I absolutely love this trench. I've had it for so long and it's withstood the test of time. Like it looks so good. I stained it the other day. I went to like the US Open with a friend and we were eating pizza and I got some pizza sauce on the jacket and I was just like so livid. But like, you know, I was like, when I get home, I'm gonna like rub it with some Tide to Go pens because it's dry clean only. And it just, the Tide to Go was perfect. Like it took it off. I didn't need any further kind of like attention to it. It kind of pretty much was erased with the Tide to Go bleach pens, and it looked fine. Definitely still gonna go take it to the dry cleaners though. But such a great quality trench. Like the Burberry trench is obviously classic. When you think of trench, you think of Burberry. Like nobody does it like Burberry. And this season, they have so many great alternatives. As you know, the former creative director of Bottega Veneta, Daniel Lee, is now at Burberry. His twist and his take on the Burberry trench, you know, every season Burberry has a new trench or several trench options to pick from, and he has some really fun options. But this one is an oldie but a goodie. It's definitely more of an archive, I would say, and I love it. The next trench twist or trend that I'm really looking forward to rocking is like the ruffle or lace trench, and I love this oldie but a goodie one from Tibby that I bought like many years, and I think it was like from the Tibby store in Soho. And unfortunately the buckle broke. So it's a belt with like a few holes, like an adjustable belt. But because the acrylic buckle broke, the belt doesn't hold. It kind of like comes apart after I move around for a bit. So I just kind of tie it around my waist. I have no idea what it's gonna cost to get it fixed, but I don't wanna bother with it. I'm gonna have to crazy glue it. I'll try that. So Rock's a really good brand to check out aside from Burberry. That's a little more on the affordable side. I would consider Rock to be more of a contemporary brand. So it's not cheap, it's not affordable, but it's definitely like a mid-range brand. It's definitely not the price of a Burberry jacket, or it's just the price range is not the same as Burberry. It's a lot more affordable, but definitely check out Rock, ROKH, for like trench. There's like really cool spins and cool takes on trenches that are very unique and very in the DNA of the Rock brand. So I highly recommend Rock. And I just love it. It's very romantic, it's very elegant, it's very sophisticated. It just gives a really cool, kind of sweet and sexy, but still very much in the same, you know, structured vibe as your traditional trench. Burberry also has a really cool Cape Ruffle trench detail on one of the season's latest trenches from the fall collection. Very feminine, also very flirty, but sophisticated and romantic at the same time. 100% something you can wear to a formal event. You know, when I think of trench, I think of like the working crowd, like your 9-to-5ers, because trenches tend to be very serious and very minimal, but this romantic element of the ruffle and the lace detailing gives it a more sophisticated and just more unique twist, but still very much appropriate for those same corporate, like more formal settings. So this is probably more of a safe option if you're thinking about it in contrast to the cropped trend that I first mentioned. The next trench option to consider for this trench trend report is the textured trench. So typically a good structured, well-made trench is made out of like gabardine. Burberry uses gabardine a lot. It's a form of cotton. Like the method in which they make the cotton is very stiff and structured and thick and durable, and very tightly threaded. And so a good quality trench, I would say, would be made out of gabardine cotton trench. And that's your traditional trench, your khaki trench, right? However, you should definitely consider other textures, other fabrics, such as like satins, leather, right? Leather would be great. And then also you can consider like a completely like plastic option, like a vinyl option, especially ones that are like see-through or clear. Those are super fun. It's also very playful, and very much waterproof, of course. So they serve the purpose better than probably any other option. So don't sleep or stay away from more affordable fashion options for trenches that are in like a polyester fabric, but definitely consider like, again, satins, leathers. They just give it a different edge, where I think leather makes it even more tough. Like, you know, again, when you think of your classic trench, your classic cotton trench, it's very like stiff, sophisticated, like work, corporate, structured, you know. But when it's in leather, it's like edgy, it's like sultry, right? It's like tough, you know. It gives it an element of really cool edge that like trench and other fabrics does not get. But then on the flip side, if you want to go for a more soft, less structured, more relaxed vibe, consider the satin option. The satin option is probably a little also more elevated and a little more sophisticated. And if you want to maybe wear a more elevated trench for like a formal dinner or an event, or like something that calls for more of a formal attire, a satin trench can be a little more appropriate, in my opinion. And I think that it's also kind of along the lines of like the romantic vibes, especially in a bright color, like a bright pastel, a baby blue, a soft pink, butter yellow. Like, I think pastel colors really, really play into that like cute, flirty, fun vibe when it comes to like satin textured trenches. So I don't have any, but I definitely want to invest in some. And yeah, another option to consider for texture is like a shearling texture. Coach had a beautiful, beautiful shearling trench coat option a few years ago, and oh my god, I was obsessed with it. It was like this beautiful, gorgeous, like grayish color, again fully lined in like shearling, like fleece, and the outside was more like a suede material. It was like genuine shearling, like wool, and it was like the most gorgeous trench coat ever. And I didn't want to get it for regular price, and I wanted to wait, and I waited, and then they sold out of my size, and they marked it down to 50% off, but they didn't have my size. They only had like really small sizes left. and I was devastated. If I could ever get my hands on it again, I would try to hunt it down. I'm gonna try and hunt it out. It was just such a beautiful coat. Oh my God, shearling. And I don't see shearling done too often in the trench style, so this was a fabulous take on that. And another option to consider when it comes to different fabrics. The next twist on a trench trend that I want to focus on is the bodysuit trench trend. Now, I'm obsessed with this trench trend. I literally only have one, but I want more. I don't see it as a style that too many brands are doing, but I absolutely love the one I have. I have one from Coperni that I love, and I've worn at least once or twice on my channel, and I just think it looks so fabulous with boots, with thigh-high boots, with some really fun tights. I styled it with jeans worn underneath it, so the bodysuit was kind of on top and then the jeans were underneath. And the jeans I wore were these Coperni jeans. It was like a hybrid jean of like a spandexy kind of fabric in black, and then like the bottom half was like denim jeans. So that was really cool. I also styled it with jeans over it. The bodysuit was worn first, and then I wore a pair of these H&M boucle textured jeans on top, and I loved how it came out. You can really have fun with this trend. I think for me, I definitely want something that cuts a lot lower, like nothing, not a true bodysuit that cuts like a, you know, like a BV, we don't want that, but something that cuts kind of more like a short. We don't want hot pants, we want like fully covered shorts that like cover the entire rear end. So definitely look out for the coverage when it comes to this trend. I'm very specific about like how much skin I want to show when it comes to my rear end. Some are more fully covered, full coverage, that's more my vibe. And then you can also always, even if it's not something that has a full coverage, you can wear like real full leggings or real like tights that are more opaque, so that you're not really showing too much skin. So that's how I would wear it. And of course, like, I encourage you to style it in the way that you are comfortable. Everyone has different comfort levels. And that's just fine. So yeah, I'm gonna try, hopefully I can find some more options. I haven't seen that many. Coperni is like the only brand that's been doing a ton of different iterations of bodysuits, which I love. But I want more options so I can acquire more. But because this trend is very versatile and you can style it in so many different ways, as you saw from my examples. So yeah, that is the bodysuit trench trend. So the next trench trend that I want to cover is going to be the multi-belt trench trend, or just like heavily embellished trench trend. So again, like take your classic trench, but make it fun and exciting by having like multi-layered belts. Again, Ghani, I mentioned the cropped one earlier, but there's also a full-length trench option as well. Very similar to the cropped, except it has a longer, you know, hemline. It reaches past, I think, the knees. It comes with a hood. Both versions come with a hood, which I love. And both versions come with a really cool buckle, like 2-layered buckle detailing at the torso. And I just love how it looks. Like, it looks so good on everyone. It's definitely edgy, but it's also like really chic, very fashionable. And I don't think it would ever, I think it's timeless. Even though it's kind of a trendy period for like the layered belt trend, it's still, to me, a timeless option because it's still a trench. So I could never see this really being something that goes out of style or is like out next season or in the next few seasons, because at the end of the day, the core of this fashion piece is that it's a trench, and trenches are always going to be timeless and they'll never get out of style. So these are just more fun ways of enjoying and playing with the trench staple, closet staple. But yeah, multi-belt trend, like you can, the Ghani one's a great example. You can obviously, like, you can even do your own thing and like take a classic, simple, more minimal trench that you already have in your closet and add on some belts, or add on some like really cool brooches or pins, or, you know, add on some really cool like chains, maybe some like really cool like bag chains that you can add onto a belt, just to make the trench a little more embellished and a little more interesting and exciting. You can really do all this without like having to buy anything new, and just utilizing all the little accessories that you have in your closet already, and spruce up your classic trench to give it a brand new look and feel. So I really love this idea because it really focuses on what I've been trying to write home about, like shopping your closet more and shopping outside less, because that's what we're trying to do this season. So I love that you can really just improvise with this and make the most out of what you already own. And then I would say the last trend would be the cape trench. And so I kind of already covered it with some examples earlier when I was talking about the crop trench trend, and then also the ruffle trench, because I gave some examples from Burberry and Mango. But also like the cape trench is definitely a trend itself and its own standalone type. One trench coat can incorporate 2, 3 of these trends that I've already covered in this video. So love that, right? We love a 2 birds and 1 stone kind of vibe, right? I would say the cape trench can be worn, like I said, as a cropped length. You can do it as a full length. I own one that's like from White House Black Market, and it was made in actually it was made in another texture I didn't cover. It was like I think it was some kind of rayon blend. So it was a softer fabric. It wasn't wool. It may have been a wool blend. It was like a wool blend trench, and it was so cool. It was giving Inspector Gadget / like Sherlock Holmes, but it was such a beautiful coat. I still own it, but again, it's a really old coat, and so I don't have any recent pictures or any pictures at all of me wearing it. Surprisingly, it was before I was vlogging and taking pictures of my outfit. So love this cape trench trend for people who are fans of drama and being the center of attention. So yeah, that is the cape trench trend. So that is it. That is all 6 of the trench trends that I am definitely a huge fan of, and I will hopefully be rocking this coming fall season. And I encourage you to consider styling or rocking one or a mix of all or some of these trends, because they're definitely for the fashion girlies. You can't go wrong with them. A trench is a closet staple that everyone should have, and even if it's a simple trench, I covered sprucing up your trench with multi-layered belts, brooches, you know, pins, you name it. Anyone could participate in any of these trends without having to necessarily buy something new. So please, as always, stay blessed, stay safe, stay respectful, and I will see you girlies in the next video. Bye.